This is How to Be Successful in FPV Part 11, the night flight. Hi, I'm Alex Grieve, aka iBcrazy, and in this segment I'm going to teach you how to make a night flight. With fall fast approaching and the days getting shorter, sometimes the only way to get your flight fix is to pick up and fly in the dead of night. And I'm going to show you how to do it. There's some distinct advantages to flying at night. However, it's obvious it's going to be stressing your equipment to the max, so the setup is critical. The flying location is also going to change. You're going to need to choose to fly from a well-lit area. That does not mean you need to fly over a well-lit area. That means you need to choose a launching and landing spot that is very well lit so you can see your runway. Once the plane is up and in the air, you'll be able to see just fine, and you'll actually be able to fly by landmarks because everything is going to be fairly well lit. The trick is you need to set up your aircraft properly. And the first step to doing that is choosing the proper camera. If your camera has a lens like that, it'll cut it late at dusk, but at night, it's not going to cut it. If your lens looks like this, that's what you want. Put it on the camera, and now you've got a night flying camera. In this case, this is the 600 TV line camera with a Super HAD 2 sensor. PixM cameras, no good for night flying. GoPro and CMOS cameras, not going to cut it, guys. The only way you're going to do it is with a good CCD camera. The Sony Super HAD and Super HAD 2 sensors are the best. And if you have an OSD to set it up, you're in really good shape. You're going to need this to set up your aircraft properly. You're going to need to turn the contrast way up. You may or may not want to turn the backlight compensation on. You're also going to want to set the camera to either stay in color mode or stay in black and white, because when you fly under lights and things, you don't want your camera to suddenly reset to color in black and white. It gets quite irritating. And we will go over the proper settings for your camera upon doing this. But there's some other advantages to flying at night. Flying at night, as much as it seems more dangerous, it's really not. Well, because there's not as much commotion at night. People are typically inside, so there's not as much people traffic. What else? RF traffic. Not nearly as much of a problem. Well, because most transmitters run during the day. Businesses typically run during the day, so most of those transmitters that would create a relatively high noise floor and shut down your control or your video are now off. Of course, your flying location is now going to change. You need to now fly from a well-lit area. Now, I said fly from a well-lit area. That does not mean fly over a well-lit area, because all you're going to need to be able to see very well is where you're going to launch and land. Once you're up in the sky and flying around, you would be amazed how well that camera does at night. And you can see the contour of the ground, buildings, hills, everything, even if they're not lit up. Of course, the great thing about night flying is you've got waypoint navigation. You can see that lit up shopping mall down there and just fly to it. And then when you turn around, you know your area because it was lit up very well. And it's very easy to see to land. Another great thing is that air traffic at night is lit up. So I recommend you light up your aircraft with a few lights so you're easily visible as well. That does not mean you need the red on the left and the green on the right. If you're going for a long range flight at night, maybe you want to do that. However, if you're going to be flying in close proximity, maneuvering around, choose some other colors like white or heck, blue is great. Why? Well, if an air traffic controller sees red and green, they're going to assume that's a full-scale aircraft. And if you're doing this all over the sky, they're going to be rerouting traffic for your toy airplane that's flying all over the place. They'll be like, Joe, I have no idea what's going on. Just avoid that thing. And that's not what you want to cause. So make sure if you're flying a long-range flight, the red and green works great, because you're going to be flying like a normal aircraft in typically a straight line. But if you're flying all over the sky, white, blue, yellow, whatever color that isn't green and red is going to do the best for you. So now, what about setting the aircraft up? How do we set that camera up? Well, now I'm going to show you. Okay, as you can see, it's dead of night. You can hear the crickets going nuts in the trees, so it's time to set up our camera. I've got my airplane set up. I've got my low light lens. So first thing I've got to do is point it towards a moderately lit area. Not real well. As you can see, the street lights, They provide a little bit of light, enough light to see, but not a whole lot. So we're going to take the plane and I'm going to set it right here. Take the camera and aim it where I can see. Oh, okay. Now, first thing you're going to need to set is down here on this unit. It's located in the special, image adjust, and then contrast. You're going to turn your contrast way up. So as you can see, when it's turned way down, it's not so easy to see. So you're going to want to turn this way up, perhaps all the way up. Sharpness. I typically turn this down a little bit so the colors don't mix. Hello, Mr. Moth. You can see it's at night. The sharpness I like to turn down a little bit. Alright, so now we've adjusted our contrast and our sharpness. The next thing you're going to want to set is the exposure. Shutter you can either keep on I recommend automatic, but if you want to manually select it, as you can see, as the shutter speed goes up, it gets a lot darker. Auto generally works pretty well. Brightness. The brightness you adjust for your screen. It does not make the camera see any better. So just adjust it for your screen. This does not at all affect how well the camera can see at night. DWDR, the wide dynamic range. Probably a good idea to have that on. As you can see, it lights up things that aren't so well lit. Alright, other things. White balance. This is up to you. But one of the cool things is you can, if this is what your light's going to look like, hit it to AWC set, hit the button, and then it balances the colors for you. Here's the other thing. Day and night setting. Do not forget. Do not have it on auto. Keep it on color. Why? Well, the last thing you want to do is fly over a shaded area and then into a lit area and the thing to scramble because it's changing. You can also leave it on black and white if you like. If you want to fly black and white, it sees better at night, but generally not necessary, so we're going to keep it on color. And that's it, guys. Let's make our flight.
Alright, so we're in the middle of our night flying episode for FPV, but want to take a quick little break out and say you don't have to just FPV to fly at night. There's also lots of other options, like flying a tricopter that's lit up with some LEDs. And you can fly that line of sight, and by the lights, you can pretty much do everything you do in the daylight, but at night. It does make it a little scarier sometimes, but it's a whole lot of fun. And then we're going to show you also a wing that you can set up with a night flight light kit and have some fun with that as well. So let's go put it in the air and see what happens. Okay, we've seen the tricopter. This is a nice mini wing that I threw some LEDs on, and we're going to go ahead and night fly this as well. So again, line of sight can be a whole lot of fun at night if you've got it lit up. If you don't have it lit up, it's not going to be fun at all because you're going to lose the plane probably in 30 seconds after it leaves your hand. So let's go ahead and toss this in the air. Let's have some fun flying some line of sight night flight.
Ready to do our night flights. You might ask yourself, where is that black plane? Well, you're not going to see a black plane too easily at night, so we switched to this little 12-ounce Phoenix, which is an absolute blast to fly in a nice, well-lit parking lot like this. And you notice, no nighttime lens. Why not? Well, this area is very well lit. It's a mall parking lot. It's about 10:30 at night. There's nobody here. It's great. Now, here's another thing you notice. We've been seeing tractor props. Why tractor props? Nice and quiet. You don't want to disturb people at night just because hey, they might be trying to sleep or something. So if you're in a mall parking lot, you might want to choose a tractor prop just simply because, well, courtesy. Not only that, when that prop starts spinning, it's going to disappear because there's just not enough light for the camera to actually see it well. But you'll have plenty of light to fly. So let's see how this guy does. All right, so here we are, set up, ready to go. because my plane has no lights on it, this is going to force me to launch under the hood, because about 10 feet out of my hand, I am not going to be able to see this plane well enough to know where it's going. And well, it's a little 12-ounce tractor prop. It'll fly just fine. So with that, let's go fly. Right now I'm typically keeping the plane fairly low, only because it's very, very well lit and I like doing the obstacle course slalom. There's no reason you can't go up high. The camera can see just fine. Just relax, enjoy your flight. Make sure you don't turn into one of those light posts. It's very easy to do, especially if you don't have a pan cam. And this is one of the great things about a light, small airplane. You can really fly it anywhere. And especially with this much light, a lot of fun. And that's how you make a night flight with a small airplane. Now let's get the big boys out with their lights and do a little tandem flight, Stone Blue. I guess that concludes our night flight. When you fly above your light level, it's a little harder to see those trees until you're about 2 feet on top of them, and so I guess I had a little bit of a tree landing, but with extension ladder I'll get it back tomorrow morning, so not too worried about it. Keep it safe, keep your wings in the sky.
Y'all got the people down there in Startech thinking y'all a terrorist attack.
Oh, right.
I knew they was a remote control because I'm like, where did they come from? And then I seen 2 of them, and then I seen them land. They think it's a terrorist business.
Oh,
Tell them it's a UFO.
That's what they said. They taking pictures of it. They said they about to attack on America.
Oh my God. Yeah, because everybody knows all RC
What
planes.
is that? That green, white, and red? It's Mexico. I'm telling you.